What is going on, YouTube? Northeast Ohio Sports Cards here for another impromptu live stream. 2 in a week. I know it is crazy. That's what happens when you take a couple days off work. You have free time. So I figured this is kind of a down hour for March Madness. I would hop on very quickly before the evening games go full throat. And everyone will rather be watching that than listen to me ramble on, myself included. So we will try to keep this one short and sweet, maybe about 30 minutes or so. We'll see how questions go. And anyone of the future people watching this, this is live streamed. There is no particular topic, rant, or rave. Wherever chat takes us, we shall go. Whatever paths they wish to venture down is where this chat will take us. So, with that being said, chat, feel free to hit me up with questions, topics, etc., etc. Is it okay to pay premium price over comps for a mint card you plan on grading? I personally wouldn't, unless it's something super rare and hard to find. Like a short print or a numbered card, then yeah, that's fine. But if you're just talking about like a Prism base card, then no, I wouldn't, because there's another fish in the sea. Florida State is gonna win it. What is up, fellas? I am sure a few brackets are busted as well. Thoughts on KPJ? I am selling most of my KPJ. I sold my BGS 10 yesterday, actually. My Ruby Wave BGS 10 went out yesterday, or actually it shipped out this morning, rather. Sold it yesterday. Sorry, I was distracted by random YouTube errors on the other screen, but it seems like everything's going good. So yeah, I am selling KPJ. I sold 5 silvers the other day. I sold some base the other day. I sold some parallels. I still have quite a few KPJ because I had a large inventory of his stuff, but I am selling most of it. I'll take the over for the time. What up, Neo? What up, everybody? Thoughts on new changes to Star Stock? Are you talking about the My Collection thing, Ziggy? I haven't dug into it yet. I saw that they added something new, but I just legit haven't had time to click on it yet. It looked like it was just reporting for like your collection, but I did not dig into it. Has anyone found retail recently? I sure haven't, but I also haven't looked. Would you invest in Jalen Hurts right now? I've actually been buying Jalen Hurts on Star Stock, funny enough. So, yes, I am anyway. Yeah, all the retail around me is limit 2 to 3 per, and it's just not worth running around a bunch for. I have not noticed the rise in SGC 10 values, but I also haven't looked either, so I can't say for sure. But we could certainly take a peek real quick here. 1 second. Let me make this a little smaller. So my go-to for SGC 10 values is Zion Prism Base, because that's the most graded card in the history of humans. So let's see. 2019 Prism Base, PSA 10, SGC 10 Mint, search. And we'll give this a second. And it doesn't look like one sold recently. So let's go back 30 days. Oops. So the last one sold on 3/12 for $450, and Prism Base was going for $650. So $200 difference there. Let's look at the percentage change. Basically stayed flat to this point. Prism's up 2%. This is over the last 30. SGC 10's up 0%. So not much change. Guys like APJ are not going to become Hall of Famers. They're shelf value and an expiration date. You sell them and use the profits. Birds on a bats, 100% truth. Guys like KPJ or guys you buy super cheap, you wait and then you pounce and move on to the next thing. I do like KPJ. I do think he is a very good NBA player. I do think he could be really good, but I did try to get a pack on Top Shot today, Ziggy, and failed miserably. I was like 125 in the queue, 125,000 in the queue. Thoughts on buying GMAs and other 10s to crack the PSA? If I was going to crack and send the PSA, I would buy SGC 95s. SGC 95s are always ridiculously undervalued. They probably have a decent shot at pulling a PSA 10. And I would rather have an SGC 9.5 over a GMA 100 times out of 100. What you think? Raw KPJ Prism, I should ask for $30. I don't know what you mean, Joel. Baseball retail, there's so much Top Series 1 out there. StarStock is taking forever to load cards. That's why I've never sent them anything. Thoughts on non-Marvel trading cards from the 90s, 80s? Is that market cooling off? I think that market's just stabilizing. It jumped up, pulled back, and now is leveling out at its new norm, which isn't as high as it once was, but isn't going to go back to like the before times when that stuff was basically free. Is it just my connection or are you chopping up? I don't know. Chat, am I chopping up or do I sound loud and clear? You guys tell me. What's your thoughts on De'Aaron Fox? So here's the problem with De'Aaron Fox, and a lot of these guys like De'Aaron Fox. He's not on a playoff team. So I don't know that it makes sense to run out and buy guys like that right now. I would rather wait for the market to dip on them a little bit more. Probably during the playoffs. Because, okay, you buy Fox now. Like, and you could, once again, you could use any player for this example, but any non-playoff star, if you will. You buy Fox now on a PSA 10, whatever those are going for. It's probably not going up between now and the playoffs unless he just goes nuclear. So guys like that, I want to buy in the playoffs when all the money is focused on the playoffs. And usually those guys see a little bit more of a dip. Worst case scenario, you wait into the offseason and buy him then. I just don't see a rush to run out and buy Fox right now. It's not like running out to buy the Joker, who is an MVP candidate and his team is going to make the playoffs and potentially a playoff run. That's someone you want to get now, or like a Donovan Mitchell or whatever. Guys like Fox, who else would be on that list? Colin Sexton, Darius Garland, to name some Cavs. Those types of guys. SGA is another one. That's probably the biggest one on the list that I would put in that same category. Like, they could see little spikes here and there, but they're not making the playoffs. So there's no, like, you're holding them all the way into the beginning of next season at the earliest to sell them. So why buy them now? Just wait. Just wait. When does Zion Bracers will go over 20K pop count? It's at 16K right now. I think it actually takes a while. I feel like most of the ones that were going to be graded are already there, if that makes sense. Thoughts on more customization options on slabs by HGA? I am super intrigued by HGA. I saw the tweet that or Facebook message or whatever it was that they put out with the custom Herbert. I think it was Herbert with like the marbleized look. I thought it looked really cool. I continue to be intrigued by them, but I don't trust them fully yet. And I continue to hear lots and lots of issues with their queue system / limited release, problems getting in, which I get, they're scaling. But at some point in time, people are going to get sick of that every week after week after week. And even if they go from, I think they're 5,000 cards a drop right now, even if they triple that to 15,000, that's still really not that many. So they have a long way to go. And they have literally no track record, which just makes me a little bit nervous. I like their innovation. I like their talk, but I just need to see more grades by them. I see a lot of issues with their slabs in regards to just like spelling errors and things like that. And I'm not going to call out questionable grades on like should this really have gotten a 9 centering? It looks more like a 9.5 or a 10, or it looks like a 7.5, but they gave it a 9. Because I could pull up a billion examples of every grading company of cards that most people feel like were not graded correctly. So I'm not going to hold that against them too much, but spelling errors on a slab or marking it completely as the wrong card when you guys are only doing 5,000 cards a week is a little concerning to me. So, but I like where they're going with the customized slabs and stuff like that and beginning to expand that option. Had an express order delivered to PSA on 2/9, still not entered into PSA, but also sent an order 2/28 to them. That order was entered on 3/1. Does that happen to anyone else? That seems like a really long time for an express order to at least get checked in. Did you remember to put the sticker on the outside of the box? I am Neo on Top Shots too, Ziggy. Neo_sportscards, I think. Should I list my KPJ Prism raw base for 30 on eBay? I don't think they're going for 30 on eBay. I think they're going for like 20, Joel. You can list it at 30 best offer, but I wouldn't expect to get 30. I mean, Captain America 323 is probably going to be a little spicy just with all the Falcon and the Winter Soldier stuff right now. But I'm more of an X-Men Spider-Man guy. So, but anything Cap related with Falcon and the Winter Soldier right now is going to be pretty good. Marvel What If number 10 is a good investment. I do not remember what that one is. Oh, the Jane Foster one? Could be. I mean, I feel like that's already happened. You know what I mean? The major price move on that already happened. There's probably other places I would rather go, but I don't think it's terrible. I'm not like super up on downtown pricing, but a downtown is probably worth grading if it looks good. Downtowns are very popular. Uh, 7, 8, 9, and 10 in each conference play in the play-in tournament. That is correct. Yeah, they each play each other in a best of 1, and whoever loses is gone. Thank you very much, Wyatt. Welcome. Full steam ahead with most stuff. Cardboard.com. You know, anything higher end is going to go to PSA, but I do believe that there is a market for somebody out there to capture the lower end because, you know, $100 a card for regular service is not viable for a lot of cards, and waiting a year to get your cards, while fine for some people, is not great for other people. So I do feel like there is a market potential out there for someone to capture, you know, your Keston here at tops that you want to grade, but you don't want to wait a year to get them back from PSA. It's a steal a baseball example, or, you know, Brandon Clark or something like that. Do you think any of the Disney Plus films coming out will have an effect on the price of Marvel cards, similar to how West Coast Avengers White Vision? Probably at least a little bit, just because it's going to draw more eyes and search engines to those characters. So the Disney Plus shows cannot hurt the Marvel trading card game. So at worst case scenario, it changes nothing. Best case scenario, it gives them a little bump, but I don't think it's going to be as crazy as the comic book market swings. Cardboarddeal.com. I kind of heard the same. I would like to know more about how all that works. Got a Star Stock A Zion Select Concourse for 120. Did I get a good deal? I'd have to check comps. Star Stock A's are weird because it's hard to value them. Well, it's not hard to value them, but you got to do like the whole math equation on them. If a PSA 9 goes for around 120, or if that's a little less than a PSA 9, then you did okay. PSA 9 is around 70. Select Concourse PSA 9s. That seems like pretty good deals for 7 to 80. I wouldn't go too crazy, though. I would diversify. Which Deadpool should I be investing in if I can't afford New Mutants 98? New Mutants 98 in a lower grade, Dan. I am not big on Obsidian. Obsidian's a cool looking set. The problem is it grades like crap. Most people forget it exists about a week after it comes out. That goes for Obsidian anything. Same with Spectra. A lot of those weird random one-off sets, Obsidian, Spectra, Panini One, all those, whether you're talking about football or basketball, they're like breaker only products. There's some long-term investment in it, in like a Luka or a Herbert or something like that to mix sports. But in general, those sets just don't have a lot of staying power. So they're not like the first, second, third, or even fourth card people are going to go to. So I just usually feel like there's better things you could put your money in. I don't follow the vintage basketball market really well, so I don't have a good feel for when that could make a rebound. I feel like the vintage market moves very randomly. Thoughts on Deshaun Watson? Okay, Deshaun Watson. So I got brutalized on Star Stock on this one. I decided I saw this was just an unfortunate series of events on my part and bad timing and bad luck, I guess, if you will. So I saw that the Texans signed Tyrod Taylor. I did not know, and I don't know if maybe it didn't come out yet, or maybe it did and I just missed it. I did not see the current allegations leveled against Deshaun Watson. I bought a PSA 10 silver on Star Stock for like $1,100. I forget exactly what it was. 11, 1150, 12. I don't remember. Over $1,000. Because I was like, you're not giving Tyrod Taylor $12 million unless to be a backup, basically. Well, then all this allegation stuff came out, and I ended up accepting an offer for $900 today on that Watson to offload it. I have concerns. Part of me says he's going to be perfectly fine. This will blow over, and it's a bunch of fake news. Part of me says there's more and more people getting added to this allegation list by the day, and I did not want to take the risk and get completely stuck holding the bag. So I took the $200 loss on the chin and would rather have the $900 back in my account to make other plays. And sometimes those are the tough calls that you need to make. In that case, I figured the $200 loss to free up the money again and eliminate my risk was worth it. So I took it and ran. Maybe it ends up blowing up in my face if he gets traded tomorrow and this all gets thrown out the window. Is what it is. You win some, you lose some. Is your bracket busted? Not yet. Basically, yeah. You need to predict out PSA like they're going to be gone for a year. SGC was a company that should have capitalized on the lower end market and really lean into the collector aspect. Roll liquidity is too bad to pay for $25 a card, even with the turnaround time. Birds on about. I agree. SGC could still kind of own that lower end market if their stuff becomes more liquid. There's a lot of people out there that are big SGC fans and ran a lot of numbers on it and say that you can do well with SGC, which you can, but you just have to put yourself in a mental headspace that you're not going to get nowhere near as much as you could if it was a PSA slab, and they're a little bit more of a pain in the ass to sell. I do think 25 was a little bit of a steep of a jump. I think they should have went to 20, but I feel like if they didn't go to 25, they would have just immediately fallen behind again. So it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Top 5 are underrated 2019-20 rookies that you think are going to have substantial demand over the next 3 years. So from last year's rookie class, I can't think of 5 off the top of my head without completely falling behind on chat. The big one that jumps to mind, and I actually just bought a bunch of them, is Nickeil Alexander-Walker on the Pelicans. I just bought some Nickeil on Star Stock this morning, actually, some A's and some B's. I really like Nickeil Alexander-Walker. The reason why I bought Nickeil specifically is I think the Pelicans are going to try to move Bledsoe and may move Lonzo. So it's a very low risk, high reward play. Because if Lonzo or Bledsoe gets moved, Nikhil's going to get a ton of playing time and he balls out when he gets playing time. Yeah, I try to Ziggy as much as possible. Do you have a current value threshold to hit before grading a card? Yeah, I need it to be somewhere between a PSA 9 and I need it to break even on a PSA 9 with the cost of grading plus what I put into the card is essentially my break even point. I want to break even on 9s and make profit on 10s. Oh, a super chat. Thank you, Philly Vision 215. Much appreciated. Sorry, I lost track of chats. Can you send a PSA graded card to HGA or just Raw? I do not know if they are doing crossovers yet. Why didn't the comic cards ever go up? 1940 Superman, 66 Batman, 68 Superman cards. They're pretty stagnant the last 5 to 6 years. I think that comes down to as simple as most people don't know they exist. Most of the people spending money are 35 to 45, and that's not what they collected. I think it really boils down to something as simple as that. I just broke down the whole Watson situation. I don't know that they can trade him with the sexual assault stuff. How do you convince the market to move away from PSA? You don't. The market's going to market. Like you can't change the market's mind. It's one of the things a lot of the big SGC backers talk about. Well, price your cards higher so they sell for more. It doesn't work like that. Like the market wants what it wants. So could it change from PSA? Yes. Will it change from PSA? Probably not. They're probably going to be number one, at least for the foreseeable future. Could things shift off of it? Yeah, you never know. But I just don't. I just don't see it happening anytime soon. And there's no magic formula to make it shift. Yes, the Texans did also trade for Ryan Finley today, so they've brought in 2 additional quarterbacks. $150 worth of KPJ, mostly optic and mosaic, cheaper per card. Thanks for the content every day. I took your advice, bought 150. Nice. Did you sell the KPJ yet? That's the real play. I know they want it, but I'm just not understand why, just like Prism. So the question basically is, why does the market want PSA? It's pretty simple, actually, in my opinion. The market wants PSA slabs because they say 10 in the corner, not 9.5. And 10's a bigger number than 9.5. I really think 80% of that boils down to that. What's his name on Ohio State could not make a damn shot. You are correct. Question of, do I have any current collaborations on deck? I do not at the moment. I did the one with Jeff at SCI. I would like to potentially do something with someone in the comic book realm, just to kind of go back and forth with someone that's in that world, to either argue or agree with my comic book hot takes from an outsider's perspective. I think SGC actually grades the best. Their 10s are actually 10s. I mean, sure, maybe. There's really no way to know that. I think that statement's overhyped most of the time. Any company, yes, the grading companies are always going to vary when you have a human element involved, for sure. Have you done any analysis on ROI of skilled position players in football? I have not done any ROI or any analysis on it, but I don't need to. The ROI is not great. My general take on football is buy now, sell in the summer, and then from a card market perspective, forget that football exists until January and then buy football again. Thanks for the time in the chat. Helps us lonely hearts. You're just lucky my wife works late. Thoughts on low pop rookie inserts like net marbles, etc. I do like some of that stuff. I think they have somewhat capped value, and I would only want to target those for like the uber elite. So like Luka, Zion, Tatum, etc. I would not want like a Zach LaVine insert or a Kobe White or something like that. I think those do not hold value well. Silver and Bronze Age. Bronze Age mostly, honestly, right now, mostly X-Men stuff. Silver Age comics, I am kind of priced out of. What is going on, Global Sports Card Investor? I see you comment all the time. Any value in Disney cards, movie cards, Yo Raps from the early 90s? Music cards were getting a little buzzy there for a hot minute. Disney cards also were as well. Once again, any of these non-sports card stuff, it's going to come down to two things: sealed wax and PSA 10s. Any thoughts about investing in Witten? Like Jason Witten, I see no reason to put money in the Jason Witten. You too, Global Sports Card Investor. Keep on hustling. Ziggy says, the challenge with PSA 10 is most buyers are not collectors. They are flippers who buy with the goal to sell before the whole boom. There was a logical debate between collectors and BGS and PSA. I agree, Ziggy. Brent mentions a few YouTubers from the comic book perspective. Yeah, I have a feeling Comic Tom's way too big to want to deal with me. I mean, if you would want to do something, I absolutely would. I do watch him. I did reach out to Team CGC. I like his stuff quite a bit. Think Embiid's MVP chances are dead with the latest injury with Jokic, now the favorite. So NBA MVP is a very, very interesting debate right now. It really comes down to, I think the injury hurts Embiid, but there's no real clear front runner. It's pretty, in my opinion, it's Joker or LeBron. A lot of people are saying Harden, but Harden's not going to win it because of the way he forced his way out of Houston. That will hurt him. So I just do not see that happening for Harden. So I think it's Joker or LeBron or a random dark horse. So that could be Giannis for his third straight, which would be insane, but his numbers are crazy right now. It could be Luka if the Mavericks get their stuff together. And then the other sneaky one is Donovan Mitchell. Haven't heard about Sexton in a while. That's because the Cavs suck. Props on Zion photo variation rookie card from earlier video. Yeah, man, those things are super low pop count and people forget they exist. Not forget that they exist, but like they're just very hard to find. Bushleaguer 75, that is tough to do because his stuff's expensive. Venom and Carnage comics are on fire. Why are you skeptical of HGA label errors or because of the submitter's entry errors and the grading is tough? I am skeptical of HGA because they literally came out of nowhere and are not proven at all. And we know little to nothing about them. They're, to me, they come off as semi fly by night, even though that they're not. I like what they're doing, but I do not trust them yet. I'm not going to trust a grading company that's been in business for 3 months. I'm intrigued. If they didn't have the weird cap thing, I would absolutely try them out and send them cards. I'm not going to sit there and play the lottery game twice a week. I don't have that kind of time. I would love to send them Marvel cards. I am really intrigued by how Marvel cards would look in HGA slabs. So I'm interested in them, but I am not going to anoint them the second coming like Facebook wants to do, or a bunch of other people in the hobby want to do, just because they have a fancy looking slab. I've not sent anything to HGA yet. Load up on ASM 300s. Boy, easier said than done when a CGC 9.8 is 5K right now. I missed the boat on that one, unfortunately. I really want an ASM 316. I feel like I missed the boat on that one too. There was just too many things that I wanted and too many things to chase. So I missed the boat on some of these keys. Thoughts on Rally Road and Dibs? I am not on Rally, but I am on Dibs. I only put $25 on there. I just kind of tool around on there. I don't take it super serious. So how much of an impact do you think Trevor Lawrence will have on the market next year due to him being a football product's going to be nuts next year with Trevor Lawrence in it, assuming that the whole market doesn't fall apart. Please, guys, send your stuff to SGA and HGA, etc., so I could get my cards back to PSA faster. I love that. Prism basketball presale hobby box costs are ridiculous. Do you think they'll go down? Probably not, because they're selling out at those prices. I plan on doing a Prism rant video at some point in time, but I am looking at maybe an ASM 9.6. I've been trying to buy only 9.8s, but ASM 300, I think, is out of my range at the moment. If I had $5K to drop on a comic book, I'd probably rather put that towards a LeBron's Chrome. I agree with what Ziggy's saying there on HGA. They're using the tech grading, but there's no proof behind it. They have cool slabs and scarcity in the market. They are the door openers, the others to grade. From Ziggy, I agree there. I feel like it's artificial scarcity because of the way that they're limiting submissions, which is kind of hyping them up to the next level. Panicking, you bought a 9.8 ASM 300. Nice. Do you have a cutoff date to which you won't buy comics, like you won't buy any made after the 90s or something? I am trying to stick to 90s and earlier, with the two exceptions of Ultimate Fallout 4, first appearance of Miles Morales, and Edge of the Spider-Verse 2, first appearance of Spider-Gwen, which Ultimate Fallout 4, I'm probably priced out of that now. But I did just pick up, in fact, if you watch the video that I posted this morning, I show it in there. I did just do pick up an Edge of the Spider-Verse 2 CGC 9.8 for a little over $1,100. That book's probably now $1,500 right now, give or take. And I feel like it's heading towards $2K fairly quickly. So I don't have a hard and fast rule, but I'm trying to stick 90s or earlier. And yes, I'm chasing random key X-Men books. Brent, that's really good to hear on turnaround times with SGC. I hate trying to sell SGC slabs. Do you think it's time to sell KPJ? Yes. I would sell almost all my KPJ. Now, I'm coming from the position on KPJ. I'm coming from the position that I probably had about 50 KPJ Prism color, optic color, a BGS 10, silvers, bases, etc. I am looking to sell off 70 to 90% of that. Thoughts on investing in this upcoming NFL quarterback class? It's all going to come down to where these guys end up. I did see that Topps has a Trevor Lawrence set coming out. I really don't care because it's unlicensed. See, my issue with HGA and the AI tech. So, like, you're telling me this little company in a shopping plaza developed this groundbreaking AI to grade cards literally out of nowhere, when PSA and BGS are multi-million-dollar companies and they couldn't figure this out yet. That's why I'm skeptical of it. No, GMA is not a good alternative. Do not send cards to GMA. Elliot predicted it. What do you trust more, a BGS 9.5 or an SGC 10? They're the same to me, to be quite honest with you. I would rather have a BGS 9.5 because I'll be able to sell it easier. But I don't trust any grading company. For those of you that don't know, my general statement on grading companies is they all suck. And I go with whoever sells the best, the fastest, and for the most. Walking Dead comics do quite well, depending on what you have. I'm not super familiar with the Walking Dead market. I've been sticking mostly with Marvel stuff. But, I mean, you could check comps on eBay, Ziggy, 130 point or whatever. I'm not familiar with the grading process. I'm only buying graded. I haven't sent anything in to be graded. Still considering a Hulk 181 or a giant size X-Men one. What's the lowest grade that you would buy? There's no particular low grade that I would buy. It would be more about eye appeal. You know, if it's a lower grade, but it looks good, if it presents well, if you will, to steal a fancy phrase from the comic book world, if it presents well, then I would go for it regardless of grade, as long as it's blue labeled. That would be the biggest key. I don't want a purple label. Thoughts on Trevor Lawrence exclusive 50 card top set? Don't care because it's not licensed. What do you think about Marvel Black Diamond coming up next? I saw that it's on a pre-order, but I have not looked at like what's in it yet. Thoughts on ASM 149, first appearance of the clone. I have a high grade copy that I plan to sell with my 300s. There's rumors of clone stuff, but I don't know if they're going to go that crazy in the movies. Just got my phone. Bought tons of 2012 Miles Morales cards. Good pickup because there's probably people probably slept on his card since most of it was looked at the 90s. Rookie question: what does silver and bronze aged mean? So essentially, different eras of comics have different ages assigned to them. So like the 80s to 90s are considered a different age from like the 70s, the 80s, and the 40s, the 50s, and the 90s, etc. Edge of the Spider-Verse 2, there's a super rare cover. Black Mirror. Yes, I have seen that before. The ultra rare Spider-Verse darker label or whatever it's called, darker cover. GMA should stand for I have a mag that I put a sticky note on. Best card you pulled from a pack. Zion Silver Mosaic, True Silver, or the Morant Auto Redemption from Hobby Hoops Hybrid, Hoops Hobby Hybrid, or whatever the hell it's called. Both those pulls are actually on the channel. The Hoops Hybrid pull was from right before Christmas. And the Silver Mosaic pull is one of my earlier videos. You could find it on the channel, though. That came back a PSA 9. I think I sold that for $1,000. Thoughts on graded stickers for sports and animations? The sticker market's weird. It's more of a foreign thing. I would trust a BSA 9 over an SGC 10. I wouldn't go that far. What do you think of BGS Pristine Black Label? Too niche? Yeah, I think so. I mean, they sell for an astronomical ton of money, but they're unicorns. Charles, I would love a Spider-Gwen PMG, but PMGs are so expensive. And you own all the PMGs, so if I want one, I have to go through you. I just assume if it's a PMG that Charles Fuchs owns it. Have you ever graded a card that you intended to sell and then got attached to the card and then changed your mind? No. I try not to get attached to cards, but it is very, very hard to do. The hardest one I've sold so far, it was very hard for me to sell the KPJ BGS 10 because I do really like KPJ. If he was still a Cav, it would have been a lot harder. But I 10x'd on that card. I bought that card for $120 and sold it for $1,000. So big. I wouldn't be surprised if HGA gets bought out. I could see that potentially. Maybe, I don't know. One of two things is going to happen with HGA. They're either going to get bought out, which I think that's the less likely, or someone's going to give them a huge round of seed money. Thoughts on John Morant's rookie prices? I think they're too cheap, but all of modern NBA is basically down. Is a concourse silver double the concourse base? I forget what the ratio is between silver and base. Just check comps. Literally every time I see you post on Instagram or a Facebook group, it's you just literally showing off 57 PMGs, Charles. You just flex PMGs all day. You should change your name to PMG. What do you do if you have so many cards you don't know what to send in? Pick the best of the best, try to predict the future, and send away. Still waiting to send off some Marvel cards to PSA or wait for HGA to open up. I don't know when HGA is going to add non-sports cards. That's the problem. The older 66 Marvel cards, I talked about this before. Someone else asked this question. Most people just don't know that they exist. CGC 9.8 comics under 150 that you like or would suggest. That's tricky because I don't know of many under 150 because they're so inflated right now. I do not know if the Pels are going to make the plan. I'm trying not to. Someone asked, am I speccing on Disney Plus shows? I'm trying not to fall into the spec game when it comes to comics and going with the tried and true proven stuff. I got to wrap up pretty quick here, ladies and gentlemen. So unless anyone else has anything pressing, I need to go get dinner ready for the wife. She is on her way home from work. So it looks like chat has ran dry. I have caught up with questions. I did not plan on going this long, but once I start talking, stuff happens. What do we got coming up? So this morning I dropped the comic book video going over my CGC pickups. Go give that one a watch. Click some like buttons on that, etc., etc. Smash the like button on this one. Tomorrow morning, baseball video. I just recorded it and uploaded it. It'll be scheduled to drop tomorrow morning. So do 5 players that I am intrigued to hold into the start of the baseball season. So rare baseball video out of me. And then Sunday morning, the normal weekly show. And then I don't have anything planned for next week yet. So depending on what the mood strikes. But that's all I got for you guys. You guys have a great weekend. Go watch some March Madness. Get your brackets busted. And we will catch you guys on the baseball video at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Peace.